Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Kyle here from SpeedBets, bringing you guys a UFC full card breakdown. UFC 314, Volkanovski taking on Lopes. Now, last week, I just want to quickly bring this back around, talk about last week. I'm recording this, it's like 1 in the morning right now. I got to be up for work in 3 hours. I got to record this and edit this and then get like an hour of sleep, then get up for work. So we're going to fire through this card. By fire through, I mean probably like 30, 40 minutes. It's not going to be the hour that last week's was, but I can't not talk about last week. We went 5 for 5 on the locks given out. I want to make it clear, if you go through to anyone on Twitter, anyone on YouTube, everybody was giving out Anderson Brito as a lock. My exact words in the official breakdown: this fight is the biggest trap on the entire card. I told you guys Brito was a trap, told you not to bet on that fight. You guys bet on him anyways, you guys lost money. I don't know what to tell you. So, we called that one. I said Reese McKee was going to look minus 250 as an underdog. That was a bad call. He looked minus 1,000. Reese McKee was clearly the pick. I'm so glad I locked him up as one of my underdogs. Underdogs went 1 for 2. Falco unfortunately gassed out after the second round. Second round, even the live odds, he was like minus 200 because it looked like he was going to get the finish. But then, obviously, he didn't. Victor Henry weathered the storm, took the third round. I mean, we would have cashed a plus 3.5, but we took the money line, of course, because it's one of the underdog calls. So it's all right. We still profited a little bit. Reese McKee was like plus 125, plus 130 at the time we locked it in. So up a quarter unit, nothing to fuss about there. And yeah, just a little bit of our success. We're going to keep it going this week. I'm very confident. I'm picking a lot of underdogs. I'm going to let you guys know right now. I might pick flip a couple by the time I bust out the official betting video where I give you my 5 locks, my underdogs and stuff. I might pick flip a couple, but I don't really think so. I think I'm staying with my dogs here. So let's get right into this, man. First fight of the night, there is not a lot to talk about here. Nora Cornell, going to be the more physical girl, I believe, in this matchup. More powerful. A lot more knockouts, but I mean, nothing really. Like, she has a couple she's got like one by leg injury, and then just ground and pound over super low level fighters. I can't really rate those knockouts too highly, but I mean, she does have like 3 times as many knockouts as she does other methods of victory, so it is something to note. Haley Cohen, I just don't know where she's been. I think she's been fighting off some injuries. She got into the UFC off a split decision on Contender Series. Like, that just tells you kind of the status of this division. She's going to be bigger than Nora Cornell. I think both girls have had trouble making weight, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe they both miss weight. Who cares? Like, Haley Cohen's going to be good in the clinch. She has good clinch work. I think if she pushes Nora Cornell up to the cage, she could stall her out on the cage. But in the striking, I think Nora Cornell is going to be a step ahead. I have to believe Haley Cohen's going to at least control one round, maybe get a couple takedowns going. So give me the plus 3.5 on Haley Cohen, but I think Nora Cornell is going to sneak this one out. Just the more dangerous girl. You have to believe she's been working on the takedown defense. Outstruck by Jacqueline Cavalcanti. That's going to happen. Cavalcanti's huge. I don't think Haley Cohen's got anything for her on her comeback here to the octagon, like 2 years away. How long? Yeah, literally like 2 years away, almost on the dot. So I can't pick Haley Cohen coming back 2 years inactive off a loss to Jamie Lynn Horth. This is a bottom of the barrel type of fight. This is a 1-800-GAMBLER type of fight. Do not put your money on this fight, man. But give me Nora Cornell for the official pick. And next fight up here, we have Tresean Gore taking on Marco Tulio. Now, I've been very clear in the past. I don't think Marco Tulio is good. I was not impressed by his Contender Series performances. Neither was Dana White the first time against Yusuri Belgari. Sorry, I'm also one take in this. I'm not going to edit this shit too much, so you're going to have to deal with my stutters. I'm not impressed with him, man. Fight was super boring. He clearly controlled it. Marco Tulio used to be this guy who would rustle a little bit. He's going to look for the takedown early. He's going to get the control, work some ground and pound, try to find a submission. But then Dana White basically said, dude, that's not it. Like, I don't want you. And then he's like, all right, fuck it. He just starts throwing spinning kicks, spinning elbows. Everything is just 110% power in all of his fights after that. When he went back to the LFA, he's just throwing all caution to the wind. Hail Marys, trying to get a highlight reel knockout to impress Dana White. Then he got another shot in the Contender Series. He took out some random French dude who got a belt back in Hexagon. Then he got Ihor Potieria. It's more or less a layup fight. Not proud to admit, I think I picked Ihor in that fight just because I really do think Marco Tulio is garbage. This guy's striking is so sloppy. He's going to be exploited by the first technical striker that he fights. Unfortunately, Tresean Gore is not really a technical striker. This guy does his best work in the wrestling, the grappling. He has a slick guillotine that he always tries to throw. He's infamous for the Josh Fremd guillotine, where it looked like he was wringing Josh Fremd's neck. He had him like upside down, backwards, on the cage, flipped over. Like, Everything bad that could have happened to Josh Fremd's neck happened in that fight. And then going against Antonio Tricoli in his last fight, Antonio Tricoli's like 6'6". He has 6 inches of height on Tresean Gore. The dude's a black belt supposedly. Tresean Gore managed to get a standing guillotine on a dude 6 inches taller than him. Let's make that one make sense for me. But Tresean Gore is dangerous. The guy has shown to be a fight finisher. He does his best work with the submissions. He does have a little bit more experience, and his record might show he has those fights, the exhibition fights, and tough. Fought Gilbert Urbina and Ryder Newman, two fighters that never really showed to be anything more than just like Ultimate Fighter guys. So I was looking for lots of reasons to pick Tresean Gore, and I do think Tresean Gore can have success in this fight. We literally don't know what Marco Tulio looks like when he gets taken down. The level of fighter that this guy was fighting prior to the UFC is not like what he should have been. Obviously, it's hard to say because like when someone starts out, you don't know how good they are. Marco Tulio is a UFC level fighter. I just think he's a bottom feeder type. This guy was clearly better than all the regional guys he was fighting. They weren't taking him down. We don't really know what the takedown defense looks like. Tresean Gore is probably going to push him into the cage and try and get a takedown. He might get a body lock. He might get something like that going. If Tresean Gore takes him down and Marco Tulio doesn't have shit off his back, well, that's trouble for Tresean Gore. I see a lot of people talking about the fact that Marco Tulio is a shoot-to-box guy. Dude, what upper weight class fighters does shoot-to-box have for Tulio to train with? Ian Gary? Ian Gary, I mean, all due respect to him, he's not really going to up the grappling game. Ian Gary is a solid grappler. He has sufficient grappling, but he's not going to like work on Marco Tulio's takedown defense for him. So I think that's just an unproven area. I would never lay the 3-1 chalk on Marco Tulio. I'm really close to putting in a bet on Tresean Gore. But ultimately, I do think if Marco Tulio wins this fight, it's going to be by finish, so I can't even take the plus 3.5 on Tresean Gore. I think he can have a lot of success. I'm going to pussy out of the official pick. I'm going to pick Marco Tulio by like a round 2 knockout. Sadly, I really, really, really want to pick Tresean Gore, but I just can't in this spot. I think he's just too inexperienced. Marco Tulio, he has a lot of momentum. He has wrestling himself too. He could take down Tresean Gore. He's got to worry about getting his neck wrung, obviously, but I think Marco Tulio's seen a guillotine before. I can't wait to fade this guy when they put him against a good striker. But until that, you gotta pick him. I'm not gonna throw away a pick just off of hope for Tresean Gore, but for the betting side, you cannot bet Marco Tulio at these odds. I think that's stupid. Next up, we have Sumudaerji taking on Mitch Raposo. Now, this one right here, the odds are very interesting to me. Mitch Raposo has decent grappling. I mean, we haven't necessarily seen the full extent. He got shoved in short notice against Andre Lima. I wish Mitch Raposo would have gotten his contender series fight against Jack Duffy that he was scheduled for. We would have really seen the grappling tested. Jack Duffy's a good prospect. I do like him a lot. Sadly, Nick Piccinini robbed his ass, so we don't get to see him in the UFC right now. But I think Mitch Raposo's a good fighter. I think Sumudaerji has a giant hole in his game that he has never fixed. You want to look at 7 losses? Talk about 6 losses by submission. Before his last fight against Charles Johnson, where he lost by decision, every single one of this guy's losses were by sub. Charles Johnson saw that hole too. He took him down, he wrestled him, and he got a relatively easy decision win. Mitch Raposo could do just that. Sumudaerji's striking is very, very overrated in my opinion. I don't think this guy's like a super heavy power puncher. He couldn't even knock out Matt Schnell. We all know Matt Schnell's chin has never been there. I think Mitch Raposo, fighting out of that New England cartel, he has decent boxing. Generally, those guys are not ones that are like really great on the ground. Mitch Raposo has shown some promise on the ground. He has 3 submission wins of his own, but they're against super low-level competition. We're talking about an 0-3 opponent, a 5-14 opponent, a 3-2 opponent. All regional, all pretty bad promotions. I don't think that Mitch Raposo is probably going to be wrapping up a sub, but I think that's something we have to consider. I think if Mitch Raposo wants to get this fight to the ground, he absolutely can. I think Mitch Raposo's striking is also good. I like this guy's boxing. The only problem is, the reason why I'm not like 100% confident, Mitch Raposo has literally fought nobody. This guy, yes, he is like, 9-2? I mean, the most experienced guy he fought besides Andre Lima was Jake Hadley. It's Jake Hadley and Andre Lima, both of which were undefeated at the time. They both beat him. And then everyone else, I mean, it's like 4-2, 2-0, 7-4, 3-2, 4-3. These guys, they just don't have experience, and they're all regional guys. Yeah, Mitch Raposo is getting these knockouts, he's getting these rear naked chokes, but it's just not against high-level competition. I don't think very highly of Sumaderji, but I do have to respect the fact this guy's been in there with some good fighters. I mean, recently Tim Elliott, Matt Schnell, Charles Johnson. These are good names. Regardless of what you think about guys like Tim Elliott, he's a good fighter. He's been there, he's done that, he's seen everything. I think Mitch Raposo's live. I'm going to pick Mitch Raposo to get this fight done by decision. I think there's a chance of a submission, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket. I think Mitch Raposo is the better fighter all around. He just hasn't really had a chance to show that. Against Andre Lima, there was just not a lot that happened. I think Mitch Raposo can get this done. He has more ways to win. Sumaderji's like, what is he, relying on the knockout? I don't think he's going to get the knockout on Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo, a guy that's never been knocked out. So yeah, give me Mitch Raposo by decision. Next fight up, we have Cedric Dumas taking on Mikhail Zaitchik. And this one right here is one where I'm very confident. If I see Cedric Dumas fighting, I'm betting against him. Mikhail Zaitchik, this guy has got cannons for hands. This guy drops Kevin Holland in that couple fights ago, I believe that was. Yeah, right before Shar Magomedov. Drops Kevin Holland. And then this guy's fault has always been he can't grapple. Cannot grapple to save his life. Jimmy Crute got him out there with like a Kimura in the first round or some shit. I think he was one of the guys that OSP Von Flue choked. Obviously, Kevin Holland armbarred him. Michel Pereira dropped him and then subbed him. Like that's type of shit that's going to happen. I think Michel Pereira backflipped on him and then choked him. Whatever, that's Michel Pereira. You can't even take too much into that. He got subbed by Caio Baralho. This guy has grappling holes. He has 6 losses by submission, only been knocked out once. And the only loss where I'm like really looking at it and wondering how is the Dustin Jacoby loss. I mean, the other ones, they kind of make sense. The guy doesn't have an understanding of the ground game. Cedric Dumas is not a good wrestler. If I could trust Cedric Dumas to go forward, to wrestle, to pressure him, push him against the cage, take him down, work the grappling, it'd be Cedric all day. It'd be an underdog lock. But Cedric doesn't do that. He never does. He showed a little bit more promise in his last fight, taking down the great Dennis Tolulin. I mean, Dennis Tolulin's garbage. I think he's out of the UFC now, or at least he should be. The guy had like a 30% takedown defense, and he just... don't even get me started on Dennis Tolulin. But yeah, Mikhail Zaitchik, he loses to the best. Mikhail Zaitchik 30-27 to Khalil Roundtree. Like, that's the type of fighter this guy is. Yeah, he popped for steroids. I don't care. He beat the absolute brakes off of Khalil. Cedric Dumas should have nothing for him. I think Mikhail Zaitchik's going to knock Cedric out cold. Cedric doesn't have the best striking. He doesn't have the best grappling. This guy's a well-rounded guy that's really just mid at everything. He's got okay grappling, decent takedowns, maybe, okay striking. Nursultan put him out. Yeah, I poked him first. There's a little bit of an asterisk there, but I think that fight was going to end the same way regardless. I mean, wins over Cody Brundage and Abu Azitar. Are you kidding me? I mean, Abu Aziz, that guy's a part-time fighter. You look at his Instagram, this guy's got like 0 videos of him training. It's all him riding camels in the desert with like billionaires. The guy's head is not in the fight game, never has been, never will be. Cody Brundage, well, it's Cody Brundage. What can you do? Cody Brundage was like jumping guillotine in that fight. Like every single time Cedric would shoot a takedown, Cody Brundage would just jump Gilly every single time and just put himself on the back. And then he showed no get-up ability. That was like a Hall of Fame low fight IQ type of fight. I mean, yeah, I don't think Cedric Dumas is polished enough on the feet to handle a guy with like the power of Mikhail Zaitchik. I think his striking is actually really good. His grappling, his like submission defense, that's the hole in his game. Cedric Dumas, I mean, 2 wins by submission. Okay, in the UFC, it's been all decisions. I think his sub was on the Contender Series, maybe. He actually subbed a guy who's having some decent success in Octagon now, so respect there. It was a guillotine choke. I didn't watch that fight back. That was a long time ago, but I'm guessing the guy just shot on him and got guillotined. But Mikhail Zaitchik should not be shooting. He should not be getting guillotined by Cedric. If he jumps it, Mikhail needs to get up, disengage it with everything. Do not stay in the guard. Do not try to sit on top. You're not a grappler. Stand up, knock him down, and just ground and pound him out. Give me Mikhail Zaitchik with a round 2 knockout. Next up, we have a fight that I am very, very excited for. We have Darren Elkins taking on Julian Erosa. Darren Elkins, I'm a fan of this guy, man. This guy is one of the biggest dogs in the UFC. This guy is constantly digging deep in his fights, never going to quit, cardio for the entire time, and he's going to make you feel the pressure. He wears the damage on his chest, he's going to make it known. He's going to throw some nasty little elbows in close when he gets on top of you. He's going to be shooting this every single time. Darren Elkins is going to shoot a takedown in this fight. Guess what? Julian Erosa, pound for pound #1 flukester. The guy's got like 15 submissions. He's got 4 in the octagon. I think it's 2 Darce chokes, 2 guillotines. This guy's a flukester of the highest order. This guy will win fights that he should not be winning. He will lose fights that he should win. And when I looked at the odds and I saw Julian Erosa -400, my heart almost flew out of my chest. That's the fastest I've ever bet Darren Elkins. And let me tell you, I bet Darren Elkins often. Darren Elkins was my dog lock for the last one when he fought Daniel Pineda. I believe the fight ended up as a pick'em, but Darren Elkins was a dog for the majority of that fight week. And in the post-fight interview, let me preface this. Daniel Pineda is a guillotine merchant of the highest order. Daniel Pineda is a guy who's always jumping the guillotine. Every time Darren Elkins shot a takedown, Pineda jumped the guillotine. Darren Elkins, yeah, they look tight. With the Darren Elkins fight, you're going to have to sweat out him being stuck in a guillotine for a little bit. I'm not going to lie, that's just a part of the Darren Elkins fight. When you bet on him, you almost always get underdog odds. You have to live with the fact that he's going to be stuck in a guillotine choke for a little bit, but he's going to get out. In the post-fight interview, he said, everybody in the world thinks they're going to be the one to guillotine me. Let me tell you, you're not. Keep on trying. The only time Darren Elkins has ever been subbed is by Charles Oliveira with an armbar in the first. That's understandable. That's going to happen. Darren Elkins is going to shoot takedowns. Julian Erosa is going to jump for the guillotine. I know that for a fact. He's probably going to get a tight one in. Julian Erosa has some long-ass arms. That's the reason he's doing Darce chokes and guillotines. Those are lanky arm chokes. I do a little bit of jiu-jitsu myself. I have super long... I'm like 6'3", and I'm relatively skinny. My arms are long as shit. The Darce choke is my #1, all right? Like, I know that choke with the long arms, that one's, like, easy. Guillotine is also pretty easy with the long arms. You can really get underneath there to crank it. This is going to be tough for Darren Elkins. He's going to be stuck in a very tight guillotine at one point in this fight, and he's going to dig deep. Because, again, in his post-fight interview, he said, every time I fight, I'm going to dig deeper than my opponent. And I believe him. He hasn't shown me otherwise in his entire UFC career. I don't think Julian Erosa is good. He's clearly going to be the better striker, but his takedown defense is subpar. Tell me you can't see Darren Elkins shooting in for a takedown, Julian Erosa jumping the guillotine, Darren Elkins going to end up on top, he's going to grind him out, this guy just sticks to you when he's on top. He's not getting off, you're not getting back up, he's going to hold him down, throw some elbows, he's going to win the round. He only has to do that for 2 of the rounds, he just has to survive in the other round. Julian Erosa, like I said, the much better striker. Darren Elkins is not a beauty to watch on the feet. Love Darren Elkins, but that's a hole in his game. He's a little bit older, a little bit slower. But Darren Elkins' 40 is not like the average human 40. This guy's still moving like he's 35. For all intents and purposes, these guys are the same age. I'm going with Darren Elkins. I think Darren Elkins can win this fight. I think it's going to be probably a 29-28 on the cards. I think Julian Erosa is going to fuck himself over trying to jump for the guillotines. Whether he only does it in 1 round or if he does it in 2, Darren Elkins is still going to push forward and get the takedowns. I think Darren Elkins takes him down, grinds him out on top like he always does. Is Julian Erosa live for a fluke knockout? Absolutely. This, like I said, pound for pound #1 flukester. But I don't see that. I think Darren Elkins gets this done as a 3-1 dog. Probably going to be close to the highest odds dog I've ever given out on the official dog section of the video on Friday. I did give out Carlos Vera at the +600. That's currently the king. But Darren Elkins +300, that's a damn good bet. I love the odds there. When the spread drops tomorrow, or today when you guys are watching this probably, I'm going to hammer the +3.5 for Darren Elkins. Like I said, I don't think Julian Erosa is finishing him. Darren Elkins will absolutely win a round. He's such a big underdog. I hope that I get like +150 on that. But yeah, I'm probably going to put probably 2 units on that. I think Darren Elkins to cover the spread is incredibly live, and I love that bet. Next up, we have Jim Miller taking on Chase Hooper. All the homies love Chase Hooper. This guy's awesome. His submission skills are sick. He's like got an ever-evolving game. There's like a 16-year age gap, I believe, right now. Where's Chase Hooper? Yeah, he's 25. Jim Miller coming in at the big 41. It's insane that Jim Miller's still out here producing results. He just got a round 1 guillotine choke over Damon Jackson. Like, insane. I know Damon Jackson is not that great, But holy shit. He got his ass kicked by King Green. That's okay. That'll happen. I mean, he was just slower to the punch in that fight. Couldn't get the wrestling going. But Chase Hooper is on another level. This guy, in his last fight, he showed he was training with Mikey Musumeci. And he showed an armbar that he learned in camp. And he literally pulled that armbar off in the fight. Just a way of finishing it with his legs. I mean, it's like picture perfect. He's just learning stuff and implementing it instantly. That's something you just love to see with a fighter. Chase Hooper, he was posted up with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson not too long ago. This guy's striking is coming along too. The striking is clearly what's lacking in his game. I mean, against who was that? Nick Fiore. I believe he put up just an insane striking record. Put up 200 sig strikes. He was just peppering the guy's guard the whole fight, but it is what it is. It happened, okay? And then choked out Jordan Levitt instantly. Knocked down Vyacheslav Borishev. And then ground and pound, subbed him up with a Darce. Crazily enough, I don't think Vyacheslav actually tapped, but I mean, that fight should have been stopped before that anyways, so I'm not too mad about that one. And then subbed up Clay Guida in the first round. I mean, that was bound to happen. He'd already subbed Clay Guida in a grappling match. It was only a matter of time. Jim Miller's been subbed 3 times in the UFC. I think the last time was Charles Oliveira. Yeah, we have Charles Oliveira, Nate Diaz, and Michael Chiesa. Those are all submission experts. Those are understandable submission losses. But guess what? Chase Hooper's also a submission expert. I think Chase Hooper's going to submit Jim Miller in the very first round. I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Hooper shoots in for a takedown, Jim Miller tries jumping a guillotine, Chase Hooper fights out of it, takes side control, steps into mount, works like an arm triangle or something. Maybe he goes back to that arm bar that he did just in his last fight. I think Chase Hooper just has so many ways to win this fight on the ground. The guy's a monster on the mat. His striking is coming along. He's going to be way faster than Jim Miller. His scrambles are going to be insane. I mean, no disrespect to Jim Miller. The guy's clearly doing something right if he's got this many UFC fights, this many UFC wins. But Chase Hooper's just going to be 2 steps ahead of him. He's way faster, way younger. And when you're on the ground like that, speed actually does matter. It's not just punching. It does matter on the ground as well. Give me Chase Hooper by submission. Next fight up, we have Yan Xiaonan taking on Virna Jandiroba. This fight right here is the classic grappler versus striker. Virna the grappler, Yan the striker. Yan actually has some serious pop in her hands. The KO over Jessica Andrade was a little bit fluky. Andrade was just running at her like Juliana Pena. I don't know what that move was. I mean, she just ran at Yan Xiaonan, hands just winging hooks, and then Yan Xiaonan stepped in with a good check hook, dropped her down. I mean, she was running into it, so obviously it amplified the damage a little bit, but Yan Xiaonan still dropped Wei Li a couple times. Only 1 recorded knockdown, but I believe there were 2 or 3 times when she stumbled Wei Li and dropped her down to a knee or something. For me, all I can look at is the takedown defense of Yan Xiaonan, and I don't think it's good. Now, I think Tabitha Ricci is actually horrendous. I slammed the hell out of Yan Xiaonan's money line against Tabitha Ricci. And I mean, you want to look at the stats for that fight. Tabitha Ricci landed 15 of 103 strikes. That's not like Yan Xiaonan having insane defense. That's Tabitha Ricci throwing her strikes and shadow box. Wait, the whole fight, and she's just literally punching nothing. If she's hitting anything, it's the guard of Yan Xiaonan. She literally landed 15 significant strikes in that whole fight. 15 minutes. She only had 16 seconds of control time as well. It wasn't like there was a lot of grappling. That was a striking match. She got 1 takedown of her 3 attempted. I think Tabitha Ricci's takedowns suck. I'm not surprised she only took Yan Xiaonan down once. I don't think that sells me on Yan Xiaonan's takedown defense. Wei Li went 6 for 9. We know Wei Li's a different kind of grappler. She's going to pressure forward no matter what, and if she wants the takedown, she's going to get the takedown. The one that kind of alarms me is the fact that Mackenzie Dern was able to take her down. I know Mackenzie Dern shot 10 times. 10 or 11 takedowns. She only got 2 of them. So that pads the stats a little bit, but defending Mackenzie Dern's takedowns should almost not even count. Up until her last fight, or maybe her fight against Lupi, Mackenzie Dern did not know how to do a takedown. She didn't know how to finish one. She could get in on the takedown, but then she just kind of quit on herself. I think that this is artificially inflating the takedown defense of Yan Xiaonan. I don't think it's that good. I think Virna Jandiroba is going to come forward, take down Yan Xiaonan with ease, with an inside trip or something, and then she's just going to submit her in the first round. If it's not the first round, it'll be the second round. Yan Xiaonan was unconscious after the first round against Wei Li. I mean, she was unconscious on top of Wei Li, and she woke up and went back to her corner. It's insane if you watch that back. Virna Jandiroba is a different level of grappler. Submitted Amanda Lemos in her last fight very easily. But Verna can't strike, okay? Her losses come in fights where she really wasn't able to solidify the takedowns like she needed and she was forced to strike. Verna can't strike. If Yan Xiaonan can figure out takedown defense and stuff the takedowns, she's going to beat the absolute brakes off of Verna Jandiroba. I want to make that very clear. My pick is Verna, and I'm confident that she can get the takedown and get the submission. But do not be surprised if Yan Xiaonan actually prepares with takedown defense, because she's going to look like a minus 1,000 favorite. I'm not going to pussy out. I'm not going to give you this, well, if this happens, then this. I'm going to give you Verna Jandiroba by submission. I'm confident in that call. I don't think Yan Xiaonan can polish up the takedown defense in this short of time. Tabitha Ricci sucks. That doesn't tell me anything. Getting taken down by Mackenzie Dern is a red flag. If you guys do want a safer bet, I do like the under 2.5. It's like plus 175. I think those are phenomenal odds. If Yan Xiaonan gets a knockout because Verna can't strike, you cash. If Verna gets a sub, you cash. I just think that's a great bet. Next up, we have Dan Ige taking on Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson, obviously the super lanky, just incredibly alien-like striker. Height 6'2" at featherweight here. Insanity. Dan Ige is like 5'7". The reach is going to be insane. It's like an 8-inch reach advantage for Sean Woodson. He's going to use all of that reach. This guy's got a boxing background. He's slick with the hands. Doesn't really do a whole lot of kicks, but he has an insane takedown defense. His legs are so wide, his base can just spread out way wider than the guy trying to take him down. Trying to get a body lock on this guy is a nightmare. And Dan Ige, man, this guy is just power. He has power in the hands, and he likes to use it. Last fight, dropped Lerone Murphy in the first round, had him in real danger. 50K Ige. The guy's known for his highlight reel knockouts. And I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Dan Ige, there is a method to his madness. Every time Dan Ige fights up and he fights a guy that's ranked, because Dan Ige is like a perennial number 14, number 15 type fighter. Whenever Dan Ige fights up against a ranked fighter, Lerone Murphy was ranked, Diego Lopes was ranked, Bryce Mitchell was ranked, Movzar ranked, Josh Emmett ranked. Those are all losses. You want to know who wasn't ranked? Andre Feely knocked out in 2 minutes. Nate Landwehr, he beat the shit out of Nate Landwehr. Damian Jackson knocked out. Gavin Tucker knocked out in 20 seconds. Do I need to continue? This goes back like 5 years. This is 5 years in the making. Sean Woodson's not ranked. Dan Ige might put this dude on a poster. Now I think if we're thinking with our brains here, the pick is Sean Woodson all day. The guy's way more technical. If he can keep the fight at range, he can control the pace, he's going to win a shitty decision. I shouldn't say shitty. A Dan Ige fight's never boring. But I think Sean Woodson should win this fight if it goes to decision. But it's so hard for me to deny the fact that Dan Ige just knocks out guys that are unranked. Do we know if Sean Woodson's that good? I mean, Fernando Padilla in his last fight, the knockout he got, Fernando Padilla looked like he had never fought before. I don't know what the hell was wrong with Fernando Padilla. He got tagged by one punch and then he just froze. Win over Alex Caceres. I mean, what's Alex Caceres doing in the big 2024? Split with Charles Jourdain, Dennis Bajuka, Luis Saldana, the draw. You need him when he was on the ground. Got frustrated. And I mean, it's just split decision over Yusuf Zalal is really good. But Sean Woodson doesn't have that win. He doesn't have that one win that makes you go, yeah, this dude is like 1,000% ranked material. You think about guys like Josh Emmett, Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy was just number 10 ranked. If Sean Woodson, in some world, was able to knock out Dan Ige, he would probably be around the 10 spot. Would you really take Sean Woodson to be on the same level as Lerone Murphy? I know the guy's boring, but he's ultra technical. He doesn't make mistakes. Everything Lerone Murphy does is intentional. He's throwing the spinning body kick when he needs to, elbows in close to keep Josh Emmett at bay, super slick head move. Everything Lerone Murphy did in his last fight was super technical by the book. The guy's a phenomenal fighter. It just sucks he doesn't carry much power in his hands. Do we think Sean Woodson's that type of level? Is he going to get past a guy like Dan Ige? I don't know if I can say he is. He got fluked by Julian Erosa. That happens to the best of them. I mean, his highlight knockout is over Terrence McKinney. I can't put too much stock into that. It's Terrence McKinney. This is one where I think I might pick flip. Right now, I'm going to look you guys in the eye and tell you I'm going Dan Ige by knockout. Now, Sean Woodson, I may pick flip. I'm going to be 100% honest. This fight I am not confident in at all. But I think Dan Ige's live. Dan Ige has success against these lankier guys than him. Dan Ige's always small. He's 5'7". But with these longer strikers, man, he just finds a way in against Lerone Murphy. Like I just got done, I was glazing Lerone Murphy a second ago. The guy's super technically sound. Dan Ige found a way in. He dropped him. He knocked him down. You're telling me this guy can't find one shot on Sean Woodson? This guy cuts so much weight, his chin cannot be good. What power puncher has he fought? Dennis Bazuka? No. Yusuf Zalal? Absolutely not. Charles Jourdain? Charles Jourdain might be the hardest hitting striker this guy's ever fought. He's never felt the power of someone like Dan Ige. I think 50K Ige is getting a round one knockout. A big check hook and a straight cross to follow it up. Now we have Nikita Krylov taking on Dominic Reyes. Nikita Krylov, where have you been, my brother? This guy's been MIA. Dominic Reyes has at least been active. Nikita Krylov, people legitimately thought this guy died. There were rumors going around that Nikita Krylov died in the war. That's how inactive this guy's been. Zero social media presence. He was never in the gym or anything. Like, this guy, I guess he just had surgeries or something, and he just disappeared. MIA. Off the grid. So he couldn't have been training, really. I mean, he's not Yuri Prohashka. He's not training against a tree. Dom Reyes has just been more active. A lot of people are giving Dom Reyes shit because he, quote-unquote, doesn't have a chin. Okay, losing to John Jones. We all know by now, the consensus opinion is he beat John Jones. He got robbed. Whatever. Against Jan Blachowicz, in my opinion, he won the first round. He was looking pretty good against Jan. And he got caught. Jan Blachowicz, Polish power, it's in the name. The guy hits hard. Getting knocked out by Yuri. Yuri has like a 97% finish rate, a 98% finish rate. There's no shame. If you're going to lose to Yuri, you're going to get knocked out. That's how it goes. And on top of that, he knocked out Yuri with an up kick, but Yuri came back awake on his way down. The only alarming fight is the Ryan Spann fight. Against Dustin Jacoby, he didn't eat any punches. Against Anthony Smith, he really didn't eat any punches. Dominic Reyes' chin has had since 2022 to heal. Dominic Reyes hasn't taken these beatings, these knockouts. These are like 4 years ago at this point. The Yuri Prohashka fight is coming up on 4 years here in a little bit. Like less than 3 weeks, that's 4 years ago when Yuri knocked him out. His chin has had time to heal. I know once your chin is gone, it probably isn't coming back to its full what it was. Nikita Krylov isn't that good, dude. I'm so serious. Nikita Krylov is not that good. This guy has poor fight IQ. Went to decision against Magomed. He lost. Paul Craig, he just about had Paul Craig knocked out. Jumped on top of him. Guess what? He gets triangled. Insane IQ there. The submission defense of Nikita Krylov needs to be studied. This guy cannot defend a submission to save his life. He's actually back if you go to the regional days, like right before he got to the UFC. He fought the same opponent 2 times in the span of 3 months. He got hit by the same choke in the same round by the same guy. He doesn't learn. He doesn't know fucking how to defend submissions. He can offensively submit you, sure. And I mean, his last performance, triangle choked Ryan Spann. Okay, you want to do MMA math? Well, Dominic Reyes lost to Ryan Spann. It is what it is. That was the start of Ryan Spann's losing streak. He then lost to Anthony Smith again, lost to Bogdan Guskov, lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta. Ryan Spann isn't anything special. I think it was a fluke against Reyes, man. I really think it was a fluke. I think we run that fight back, it goes very differently. Nikita Krylov, he knocked out Gustafsson, caught Gustafsson on the tail end of a 4-fight losing streak. All of them were by finish. Gustafsson's fighting in the GFL. That was the last fight in his UFC contract. Volkan Ozdemir, I rate this win very highly. I think the win against Volkan Ozdemir is a great win. I mean, yeah, he got to Volkan after Magomed and Yuri both got to him. That's still a great win. Volkan Ozdemir is a good contender still. But then, I mean, we haven't seen this guy in over a year and a half. It's coming up on. Ring rust is real. In these heavy divisions, you can't afford to have ring rust. Dominic Reyes has been there. He's been in the cage recently. Against Anthony Smith, yeah, he didn't look the best, but you don't need to look your best against Anthony Smith. I think Nikita Krylov's going to get popped in the first round. I think Dominic Reyes is coming out hard. I think he's going to come out fast. I think Nikita Krylov is going to be ring rusted. He's going to be running around trying to find his footing. He's not going to be able to find it. He's going to try to shoot a takedown. The takedown's going to get stuffed. Reyes is going to push him up to the cage, hit him with like an elbow in the clinch break, and then he's just going to light him up with a 1-2 right on the cage. Drop him down, finish him with ground and pound. I think Dom Reyes is going to get a knockout here. Now, I understand fully. If his chin is not what it once was, if his chin is gone and he just hasn't taken a shot that's going to test that recently, Krylov is absolutely alive to put him out. Krylov has power. He has knockout power. He specializes in knocking out guys that have been knocked out a bunch of times before, okay? I think Krylov is super overhyped. I don't think this guy's anything special. I don't think he's a threat to Magomed. He's already lost to Magomed. He's not a threat to anyone at the top. I'd pick Yuri to smoke him. Jamal Hill's a tough one. I might pick Jamal Hill to beat him. Jamal Hill has really underrated defensive grappling. He was doing very well against Glover. Nikita Krylov would probably just get knocked out. But that might be a crazy take. I don't know. I'd have to do some more tape study if I'm going to actually pick that fight. But yeah, give me Dom Reyes. Give me Dom Reyes by knockout in the first or second round. I don't think Krylov is that good. He's going to be ring rusted. We haven't seen this guy coming back off injury, off surgeries. Give me Reyes all day. Now we have the Bellator hat on for the debut of Patricio Pitbull coming into the UFC. I'm going to keep this one short. Pitbull came in too late. Pitbull missed his chance. The UFC should have taken this guy in when he was fresh, when he was younger, not when he's just about to be 38 years old, coming in against a hungry Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez, while he may have the record for the worst ground and pound in the UFC history, I don't think this guy could ground and pound his way out of a wet paper bag. He's still a good fighter. Yair Rodriguez is a phenomenal striker. When he's fighting guys, I hate when people say this. People say like Max Holloway had to grapple, Volk had to grapple. Yair Rodriguez has had a grappling hole his entire career. They were just exploiting that because it was easier than dealing with him on the feet. So in a way, sure, Max Holloway went to grappling because he wasn't having the most success on the feet. But Max Holloway did not have to grapple Yair. Max Holloway could have beat up Yair on the feet. But Patricio Pitbull, I just think he's too old. I don't think he's going to be able to get the explosive takedowns that's going to take down Yair. On top of that, Yair has been training in Chicago with Bilal Muhammad, posting up on the Instagram a lot with Bilal. You have to think he's working on the takedown defense. You have to believe he's working on the takedown defense. There's no one better to learn it from than Bilal. I think Bilal has the best takedown defense in welterweight right now. Maybe Jeff Neal's up there, maybe. Kamaru Usman's got ruined by Hamzat. It has to be Bilal as the number one takedown defense. Maybe Sean Brady. If you're shooting on Sean Brady, you're autistic. Sorry, Leon Edwards. But yeah, I think Yair's just going to style on him on the feet. I don't know if he's going to put him out. I think there's a chance for that. Yair deals damage early. We're not at elevation. I don't think Yair's going to gas out in the second round. I think he can lay 2 rounds of insane damage, maybe a 10-8 in the first round. And I think he has a chance to get Patricio Pitbull out of there. I'm going to go Yair round 2 knockout. Now, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going Yair round 1 knockout. Yair's got 4 round 1 knockouts. We're going to make it 5. Give me Yair by first round knockout. He's going to lay the damage on him with the kicks, the heavy pressure. He's coming in fast. Pitbull, he took, I think it was more or less a money fight in Ryzen. He lost to Sergio Pettis. Not a bad loss, obviously. Losing to AJ McKee, not a bad loss at all. Patricio Pitbull has phenomenal wins. This guy is probably the best Bellator fighter we've ever seen. Finishing Jeremy Kennedy is actually very impressive. Jeremy Kennedy is tough as nails. We just saw that against Kabulov or whatever that guy's name was in the PFL. He almost finished up Jeremy Kennedy, but he didn't give up. It takes a lot to make Jeremy Kennedy give up. So I think Patricio Pitbull's toughness is underrated. Yair might not be able to get him out. He might win a decision, but I'm going to take the chance on the knockout. Next up, we have my most anticipated fight on the whole card, Bryce Mitchell taking on John Silva. Now, if you watch any other videos, because I don't usually like to watch videos that other people are breaking down fights, I feel like it skews my own perspective. If I'm doing that, I like to watch those after I make my own video, after I do my own research, all that fun stuff. Everybody, and I knew this was going to happen, everybody's giving you the same wishy-washy bullshit. They're giving you the, well, if Bryce Mitchell can get a takedown, this fight gets really interesting. I'm still going to pick John Silva by round 1 knockout. But just so you guys know, this could be interesting. They're all giving you the same bullshit, the same on-the-fence answer, where everyone's technically picking John Silva, but they're all giving you the little caveat of Bryce Mitchell could have success. I'm not here to do that. I'm not going to give you a fence-sitting answer. I don't like when people do that. I try not to do that. If I'm giving you both sides of the fight, I'm going to tell you one guy's path to victory. I'm going to tell you the other guy's path to victory. But I hate sitting in the middle. I'm going to give you guys my opinion, and I'm going to give it to you straight. Look at the fucking shirt, man. You know who I'm picking. I'm picking Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell is going to take down John Silva with relative ease. You might look at John Silva's stats and say, oh, he has an 80% takedown defense. How is that going to hold up? You want to look at who is trying to take down John Silva? 4 shots from Drew Dober. Yeah, the last time I saw Drew Dober get a takedown, he took himself down against Renato Moicano and then got stuck on bottom for the entire round, lost the fight. Negative fight IQ. Drew Dober was just rocked trying to grab legs because he just couldn't see straight. All right. Then we have Melsick. He didn't shoot any. Melsick fucking sucks. Get that guy out of the UFC. Weston Wilson. I love Weston Wilson. He's a fun fighter. He just wasn't ready for that. We didn't really know what John Silva was all about. Weston Wilson went 0 for 3. He's like a striker, though. He's one of Wonder Boy's guys. He's not a primary grappler. Kevin Vallejos. Kevin Vallejos shot once. John Silva actually shot more than Kevin Vallejos, funny enough. And here's the thing. When you're breaking down these fights, John Silva, he's backing up. And he's backing up. And he's backing up. John Silva's not this guy who's going to walk you down. He's not Kevin Vallejos. He beat Kevin Vallejos, I know. But Kevin Vallejos goes forward. John Silva goes backwards. And now it's hard to defend takedowns when you're going backwards. Against Drew Dober, he found confidence. He was going forward against Drew Dober because he could. Against Charles Jourdain. And Charles Jourdain, by the way, not a good striker, but he is a primary striker. Charles Jourdain was getting in some work on the feet. Charles Jourdain backed him up to the cage. He took him down 3 times. You know how long that fight lasted? Like 6 minutes. Against Charles Jourdain, the Canadian striker. Charles Jourdain has a 20% takedown accuracy in his career. He landed 1 singular takedown in his UFC career. And he took down John Silva 3 times in 6 minutes. That's problematic. Maybe you could argue John Silva wasn't expecting Charles Jourdain to shoot. Why would you? But Charles Jourdain was he wasn't losing miserably on the feet. He found a path to victory through grappling, and he took it. Obviously, he got knocked out when he broke the clinch. It is what it is. That happens. Bryce Mitchell's a different kind of grappler. When Bryce Mitchell gets a hold of you, generally speaking, you aren't getting back up. Bryce Mitchell averages 3 takedowns per fight. You want to know why? Because with all due respect to Bryce Mitchell, he's not a fight finisher. It's going to decision often. But he never needs more than 3 takedowns because when he gets 3, that's 1 a round, you don't get up. Against Ilia Topuria, Bryce Mitchell, his striking wasn't looking horrible. He was only like 3 or 4 strikes behind Ilia in significant strikes. Obviously, Ilia's were more powerful. He stumbled Bryce Mitchell, and then Bryce Mitchell tried to chain it into a takedown. He got reversed. That's when the finish happened. Bryce Mitchell was rocked from the feet. But Bryce Mitchell didn't give up. He got 8 takedowns stuffed. And guess what he did? He shot a 9th. And guess what? He got the 9th. Bryce Mitchell is relentless in the grappling. He knows what he has to do. He sticks to the game plan, and he does his job. When he did get Ilia Topuria down, it was around the 4-minute mark in the first round. Ilia didn't get back up. Sure, you could say Ilia was trying to conserve his energy and stay down. The round wasn't that secured. The knockdown occurred in the second round. It was a pretty close first round. Ilia would have wanted to get back up to make sure he won that round. And then obviously Bryce Mitchell, he took the loss to Josh Emmett. We all know what happened. Giga Chikadze pulled out like a little pansy. Bryce Mitchell stepped in short notice to save the day. And he was a massive favorite over Josh Emmett. He was like a 2.5 or 3-1 favorite. Because his style is the style to beat Josh Emmett. Guess what? Bryce Mitchell came in super short notice. He had no training camp. When you train for Josh Emmett, you have to train to avoid that overhand. That's all Josh Emmett throws. Bryce Mitchell unfortunately did not avoid that, and I'm sick and tired of people acting like Bryce Mitchell has no chin. He was eating bombs from Ilia, still shooting takedowns. He ate bombs from Dan Ige. His face was busted up bad early in that fight. He's still shooting takedowns. John Silva can hit Bryce Mitchell. I don't think John Silva's going to one-shot KO Bryce Mitchell. I think Bryce Mitchell has a really good chin. And now people are going to go up in flames because Josh Emmett knocked him out with 1 lucky shot. I don't care. I'm going to call it lucky. I can't even say it. It was a beautiful shot, perfectly placed. It's not like a fluke knockout. All I'm saying is if you run that fight back 100 times, that outcome occurs less than 5. The other like 95, 96 times, Bryce Mitchell wins a decision. It's not a fluke because Josh Emmett didn't get lucky. He landed a beautiful shot. He set it up, he landed it perfectly. But that does not happen if that fight happens 100 times. That's all I'm saying. You can argue with me on that if you want to. I don't care. I have my opinion. You have yours. We're not going to change each other's minds. I don't think John Silva can one-shot KO Bryce Mitchell. Maybe he can. Maybe I'm going to eat my words. Maybe this guy has some severely autistic power. But let me tell you something. Bryce Mitchell genuinely believes he's fighting the devil. He 100% thinks that John Silva is possessed by the devil. Now, I'm not much of a spiritual or religious person, but I know some people that are, and they care an awful lot. When something affects them on a spiritual level, that's like a different type of motivation. Like I used to play soccer when I was in like high school and stuff. And one of my buddies who never really did a whole lot, he was always just kind of there, like a backline defender type of guy. Just blended in, maybe he'd get a block a game, pass the ball a couple times. He didn't even really touch the ball. One day he was talking about something he got a sign from God. I wasn't listening too hard. I've never been super religious. I wasn't paying too much attention. But this guy was saying that he like was almost in a car crash and God saved his life and he knew that he had like a purpose that day. Like he had to do something with his day. This guy who like never touches the ball, he scored 2 goals in the game. He had like some juke move. Like people who are religious do insane shit when they actually feel like they're talking with God or like they're fighting for a higher purpose. Bryce Mitchell 1000% legitimately believes that John Silva is possessed by the devil, and I think Bryce Mitchell is motivated as hell. I can't speak on this. This is like skeptical on a certain level because religion's a touchy topic, okay? But all I'm saying is that I know for a fact when people are motivated by religion, when they think that they are doing something for that higher purpose, miracles do happen. I don't think it's out of the question for Bryce Mitchell to take down John Silva and maul him on the ground. John Silva, we don't know. He got up against Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain didn't know what to do on the ground. He's landed 1 takedown in his 13-fight UFC career prior to that fight. We don't know. When Bryce Mitchell gets you down, you generally don't get back up. What is John Silva going to do? Throw elbows from the bottom? Bryce Mitchell's sticking so close to you, he's like a new layer of skin. You are not going to shake Bryce Mitchell. You're not going to be able to throw elbows when he's this close to your face. It's just not something that can happen. I'm taking Bryce Mitchell by decision. I think Bryce Mitchell's even going to be aggressive on the ground. If he's trying to get John Silva out of there because he thinks this guy is the fucking devil, Bryce Mitchell's going to be raining down elbows. He's going to be raining down some like hammer fists. Dude, it'd be the funniest shit in the world if Bryce Mitchell put this dude in a crucifix. That would be hilarious. But I think Bryce Mitchell's going to get this done. I think John Silva, maybe he can stuff some of the takedowns like in the 3rd round, touch up Bryce Mitchell a little bit. Maybe Mitchell's coasting. But Mitchell doesn't generally coast, even against Edson Barboza. The guy had like 2 10-8 rounds. He's not coasting in the 3rd. He's still going to win the 3rd. Bryce Mitchell is my pick. I'm taking him by decision. John Silva, I'm aware the guy's a good fighter. And here's my little pussycat. There is a world where he knocks out Bryce Mitchell. I'm not denying that. But I'm telling you, I'm picking Bryce Mitchell, and I'm picking Bryce Mitchell with confidence. I don't think he's getting knocked out by John Silva this weekend. Now we have Michael Chandler taking on Paddy Pimblett. All I'm going to say about this fight is that I just don't think Michael Chandler has it anymore. I think when you have these like big company guys, when they get fed to like the guy that the company wants to win, for some odd reason they always tend to lose. I think Michael Chandler here is in a spot where he's being used as a pedestal for Paddy Pimblett. The UFC wants Paddy Pimblett to win. The kid's got a bright future in the UFC. I think Paddy Pimblett is legitimately a really good fighter. I think Paddy Pimblett's jiu-jitsu is legit. People are talking about Charles Oliveira wasn't able to sub Chandler, so Paddy's not going to be able to. I think Paddy absolutely can sub Chandler. It's just a different type of grappling. I think Michael Chandler's going to open up like he usually does. Last fight was a little weird. He was a little more patient. It just felt off. It wasn't the normal Chandler. I think they're going to strike for the first round. Paddy might get cracked once. The Scouser chin's going to hold up. Michael Chandler's not going to chin Paddy Pimblett in the first round. And And I think Paddy Pimblett's just going to kind of wear on him. I think Paddy has decent takedowns. They aren't the best, but we just saw Charles Oliveira take down Michael Chandler. Charles Oliveira's never really offensively wrestled anyone in his career. He kind of made his name off getting dropped and then subbing people when they jumped on top of him. And even that could happen. If Michael Chandler drops Paddy Pimblett, he goes to finish. Remember the first fight with the first, yeah. Remember the first round of the first fight with Chandler and Oliveira? He dropped Oliveira. He hopped on top to finish him. If he just has Charles stand back up, he drops him again, that fight's over. Michael Chandler wins that fight. He is the champion of the UFC. But guess what? He hopped down, got in Charles's guard. The jiu-jitsu guys are tough to finish on the ground. They know how to move. They know how to grab the wrist. It's hard to TKO a jiu-jitsu guy from their own guard, even if they are rocked. That's why Islam, he tossed Charles' legs to the side. He passed the guard and went for the sub. He's not going for the TKO. He's not messing around. He just submitted Charles. I think Paddy Pimblett has potential to sub Chandler increasingly as the fight goes on. I think Chandler's going to get desperate. I think he's going to make mistakes. I think Paddy's going to capitalize. Paddy has elite back takes. I've seen this guy take the back standing. I've seen this guy do flying triangles. I wouldn't recommend doing a flying triangle against Chandler. He's probably going to powerbomb you. But I think Paddy Pimblett could even push Chandler to the cage and take the back standing. Maybe Chandler's going to do his dumb shit where he jumps on, gives Paddy the back on the ground. Like that's where Paddy wants to be, whatever. I just think Paddy Pimblett's got a lot more ways to win this fight. I just don't see a world where Chandler chin checks Paddy Pimblett. The guy's just turned 30. He has the Scouser chin. Michael Chandler's probably about to be 40. I think his time in the UFC's come to an end, which really sucks. I love Chandler. But I think Paddy's going to get this one done. A little passing of the torch moment. Because I don't think Paddy's going to be a future champ. I think he can definitely be a very solid gatekeeper, like Chandler was. Like, for example, if you fed Chandler, one of like the up-and-coming prospects in the division, like, say you gave Chandler a BSD, I think Chandler would chin the shit out of BSD, like, with ease. But they never give Chandler those type of fights. He gets the big money fights, the high-intensity fights. I think Paddy's going to be something like that. They're probably not going to feed too many like elite prospects to Paddy because they don't want to kill off his hype. But I mean, if you could put him against like Islam or Ilya or Armin, he's not going to get through guys like that. Maybe he will. Who knows? Paddy has a bright future. The guy, like I said, the guy just turned 30. Give me Paddy Pimblett to win this fight. I'm going to go by decision. I think a submission's not out of the question, but I'm going to go by decision. Main event time. Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopes. Guys, I'm just going to say it right now. Again, this is another one where people are on the thinking, oh, it's either Diego Lopes by early knockout or Volkanovski could probably take it over. I'm not going to fucking fence sit. I'm giving you guys a pick. Alexander Volkanovski is not losing to Diego Lopes. He's not losing to Diego Lopes. There's no way. The blueprint has been laid. Diego Lopes is an incredibly beatable fighter. The blueprint was laid out in full by Amir Iliskrov or something, some Russian dude. That guy laid the blueprint perfectly. Take down Diego Lopes. You can even sit in his guard. He's going to roll for a knee bar once. He's going to throw up triangles. He's going to throw up arm bars. All you have to do is not get caught in those flashy submissions, and then you can ground and pound away. The guy knocked out Diego Lopes from inside Diego Lopes' guard. They weren't powerful shots. It was just an accumulation of damage. The guy had a lot of shots landed on Diego Lopes. He's very hittable on the ground because he's trying to do submissions. Then you go up. You Anderson Brito. Copy, paste, game plan. He came out the gates, double like Diego Lopes, put him against the cage, started working on him. Yes, it ended with an eye poke, technical decision, Brito gets the win. Sure, whatever. He goes out then to Fury FC, fights Nate Richardson. He has moments. He takes the back of Nate Richardson. I don't rate Nate Richardson as a crazy good grappler or anything. But every time Richardson spins out, he gets in closed guard. Because when you have the back, when you spin out of the back, if they keep their hooks in, you just end up in their guard. Diego Lopes trying to throw up triangles. He's trying to throw up arm bars, throwing omoplatas. He's just throwing up subs with no real intention. And then he gets his guard passed, or he just gets stacked up and he gets ground and pounded. Every single time. Diego Lopes' biggest fault is his own jiu-jitsu. Or when he's trying to go for these crazy submissions, guys just pull away from them. Yeah, you're going to get the flying triangle against, like, Gavin Tucker. Okay. Again, no other submissions in the UFC. Most of Diego Lopes's submissions are just his early fights against guys that have not fought before. He is not going to sub Volkanovski. I know that for a fact. Diego Lopes, his back take game is really good. But guess what? Volkanovski brought in Aljamain Sterling for the camp. Aljo's the best backpacker we've seen. Nobody does backpack like Aljo. Aljo's the fucking goat at backpacking people. I can't pick Diego Lopes. What's he going to do? A fluke knockout in the first round? Volkanovski's way more technical. Volk knows what's coming at him. Volk has been very open talking about in the Ilya fight. He's trying to tell his body what to do, but deep down, after that Islam knockout, his body was just scared. And against Ilya, you can't afford to freeze. Volk froze, he got clipped. I'm not saying he just got caught. Ilya cut him off and he found the perfect shot. That was a great knockout by Ilya. But Volk froze. Volk's not going to freeze against Diego Lopes. There's not that same level of danger coming back. Volk can take Diego down. He can camp him in guard, camp him in half guard. Volk can outstrike Diego Lopes. He's the way better striker. Volk's ground and pound is heavily underrated. Almost TKO'd Ortega with ground and pound. Nobody's TKO'ing Ortega. Volk got put in very tight submissions by Ortega again. Not going to get submitted by Lopes. Craig Jones has been in the camp the whole time, training with guys like Aljo, insane grapplers. I just don't know what Diego Lopes can do to beat Alexander Volkanovski besides fluke a round one knockout, like off of a clinch break. I mean, that's it. And that's not going to happen. Volkanovski is going to dog walk Diego Lopes. After the third round, all bets are off. It could be a knockout on the ground. It could be a knockout on the feet. Volk could just decision. Like, Volk can win in a various amount of ways. He has more ways to win than Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes is not a good fighter, in my opinion. I've been a Diego Lopes hater. I know I'm a Diego Lopes hater. It's whatever. I wouldn't even say I'm a hater. I'm just a non-believer. The guy got clout for getting 30-27 by Movzar. Oh, he almost had a knee, but like he didn't though. The cool thing about almost having a submission is that you didn't. And then you got 30-27 almost finished by ground and pound again. Diego Lopes is a very beatable fighter. The blueprint has been laid. It was copy and pasted to Brito, copy and pasted to Movzar. If Volkanovski wants it, it's there. He's the better striker. Despite the height disparity, he's not at a reach disadvantage. Volk has way more ways to win this fight, and I think Volk's going to get it done. Probably by decision. A ground and pound TKO would not surprise me whatsoever. Just seeing Diego Lopes get TKO'd on the ground, hit on the ground all the time. I don't know, man. I don't think Diego Lopes stands much of a chance. I'll put my hater shades away. I'm excited to see what Diego Lopes can do in this division, but I think he jumped to a title shot without fighting any of the contenders that would see if he addressed that flaw in his game. He didn't fight Aljo. He didn't rematch Movzar. Those are the two high-level wrestlers at the top. You get a guy like Aaron Pico coming in. Aaron Pico's got good wrestling. I just think Diego Lopes jumped. This is going to be too much too soon. Dan Ige was giving him the work in the third round. Volkanovski has unlimited cardio, unlimited stamina. He's never going to tire. Diego Lopes, I can't say the same. He looked sloppy in that title fight. Right after he lost to Brito, he went back for the title fight against Richardson. Rounds 4 and 5, he lost both those rounds. He looked sloppy. He gassed himself out trying to chase a finish. If he hurts Volk once, he's going to chase the finish. He's not going to get it, hopefully. And then Volk's going to take over. I think it's as simple as that. Give me Volkanovski, 49-46 decision. Possibility of a TKO in like rounds 4 and 5. Those are the official picks, man. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like. Let me know if you're tailing my bets, you're fading me. You think my picks are shit, you think my picks are good, let me know. And make sure you join the Discord, top link in the description. We're giving out free plays in there. We're crushing it. Stay tuned on Friday. We're going to have the 5 locks. We're going to have the best underdogs, the DFS slips, all that fun stuff. Yeah, man. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.